All right, Kiss Army, welcome to the KissFAQ Podcast. Thank you for giving us your time today and letting us into your head. I hope we don't do any damage. We hope that you enjoy. Welcome to episode 340 of the KissFAQ Podcast. I'm your host today, Julian Gill, admin on the KissFAQ message board. Today I'm joined by St. Louis Kiss, Lonnie.
What's up?
Daniel Wees.
Hi there.
And the voice of reason, the one and only 69th Blizzard Ken. Happy New Year, guys, and Happy New Year to everyone out there. This is our first episode of 2021. I would like to thank everyone who joined us for the Kiss 2020 Goodbye live stream chat. I can't believe the response to that. Daniel, who I've now christened Sir Joseph Kiss Sr. of the podcast, for all these great ideas that he comes up with for not only the podcast in the beginning, but for suggesting StreamYard and doing a live stream while watching that live stream. It was a lot of fun, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah. I especially enjoyed the interaction with the fans, and I was perplexed by the amount of fans, and also from totally different regions or totally different, countries. We had guys from Finland,
Argentina, right?
Argentina. Yeah, that guy liked to talk a bit. Yeah.
He did he had a story going.
He had a good story, but maybe for another time.
Yeah. No, it was very cool. And
You just cut it out.
my freaking phone, of course, is ringing right when we start doing an episode, and it's a fucking 469 spam number, and they don't get intercepted by No Mo Robo. So
those 469s.
Yeah, so it was really fun. It exceeded my expectations, about how it was going to go. I love the interaction with fellow fans and just kind of talking real time about the show while it was taking place. So very, very cool. It is something that we do want to try and do again, but just figuring out the best way to leverage that technology so that when we do something, he said doo-doo, when we do a live broadcast, whether it's on Facebook or YouTube or wherever, that it's beneficial and worthwhile to both viewer and participants. So we'll figure it out. We'll see. Daniel will tell us how we're going to do it. He'll figure it all out, and I'll just press record. But it should be fun. So talking about Dubai, since Lonnie wasn't on there. And now we've watched.
I was right here.
Yeah, now we've watched the whole thing, and hopefully enjoyed it. What was everyone's take on that? Was it a successful live stream by Kiss? Did it live up to the hype? Have you watched it since? And Ken, just what's your overall 1-minute review of the show?
1-minute review. I enjoyed it. Yeah, I thought there were some things that maybe could have been better, like an audience. Unfortunately, there's no real audience. I mean, they had an audience, but it was not in front of the stage. So I would have rather have had that. I think that, that reflection back or them cheering, gives them an adrenaline rush versus almost like a sound check that they're doing, with the audience so far back is kind of, I'm sure it's different for them. I'm sure it's a different feeling. But otherwise, I thought it was great. It lived up to the fireworks show and the explosions, and it sounded good. And we got a bonus song. So yeah, I watched it again, and I thought it was, it was good. And I look forward to my DVD, part of the package, which I got an email that it would be April, May, somewhere around there, that they're going to ship those packages out.
It'll be out in the spring, eh? Oh, that's an oldie and a goodie. Daniel, what's your 1-minute review on it? Because you were quite chatty throughout the live stream, so I'm wondering, like me, whether you actually got to see much of it.
Chevy, what? I don't know what that means.
Chatty.
Talkative. Okay. Yeah, I know that. Chevy Chase.
Chevy, okay. The car.
Yeah. Chevrolet, maybe. Okay. Well, I totally enjoyed it. And as Ken mentioned, of course, no audience affected the performance. I think it's hard to, get into it when you're performing for a few millionaires on the balcony and palm trees no animals on the floor, palm trees on the floor. It's not quite the same. But I do think Kiss did a good job. I think they sounded as good as they can at this point in time, and they totally fulfilled my expectations. There were a few highlights. I especially enjoyed some of the songs. For example, War Machine was really cool. And God of Thunder was kind of funny. Sacred Gold. I mean, that sounded sounded so crazy. But for a one time off, I think it was kind of cool. But the lack of audience affected the performance a bit. And as a viewer as well, it's kind of strange to watch a band performing for no one. I think the way we did it, having a live stream, kind of made up for that in a way. We could still chat with people about what we saw. So I think it was kind of a cool thing to do. I'm up for doing that kind of stuff more. I think it was real fun. But all in all, good concert by Kiss, great effects, and a fun show.
Yeah, I'd certainly do the same with a live stream from another band, just because it was a fun way to get together with other people and have that interaction while watching, something in common. So, or even, we'll be able to do that with videos, maybe a Kiss Meets the Phantom of the Park viewing session, and do a live
I just have
commentary.
to say one more thing. I think the thing I think was most important was that you still had the feeling of, unity, the Kiss Army coming together. You knew that everyone was watching this around the world at the same time. That was kind of a good feeling. You knew that people in Argentina, Finland, wherever, Brazil, were sitting down and watching the same concert at the same time. I think that was kind of a cool feeling.
Yeah, that's a really nice thing to mention. We are one. So, Lonnie, what about you? Did you get a chance to watch it? And if so?
Yeah, I have a much different take about it than you guys do. I didn't order it, and I have my reasons why. And I went back and forth with people on Twitter over the weekend about it.
Did he block you yet?
He did not. I was waiting for it. I was really waiting for it. Or I was really waiting for him to call me a schmuck on Saturday night, actually, too. He did not. Paul got home, I guess, Saturday and started right back in on what he had been doing most of the year, which is telling fans to stay at home and to wear masks and to not travel and to do this and do that and stay close to your families. And Paul had tweeted things like that from March up until right before Kiss said, hey, there's a big announcement coming in 3 days. And then Paul didn't tweet anything about that for all the hype living up to this. And then as soon as we get home, Paul goes right back to where we were. And Paul made a comment, I think Saturday night, talking about staying at home and wearing masks. And I replied, all while you fly to Dubai for a paycheck. And it's the truth. And Kiss fans went after me Saturday night. Oh my gosh, yes. And I went back at him Saturday night. I had a couple beers in me and I really didn't care. And, it's all well, good and fine that they did this show. And I would have much preferred that they did this show. And I think it's really cool, like you guys said, that they did this show and Kiss fans from all over the world were watching at the same time. I think that's really, really cool. But I think you also could have done this at the new football stadium in LA or at the new football stadium in Las Vegas, or better yet, do it at Hard Rock Stadium where the Miami Dolphins play, because where the Miami Dolphins play, they're letting 12 or 15,000 people into that stadium. Do it in front of 12 or 15,000 people there. Then you could at least have somewhat of an audience, and it could be a pandemic type audience with putting some people in the stands. I think that would have been great, but I have a real problem with flying. And I know people went, well, they flew. It was really safe the way they did it. Okay, I'm sure that they did it very safely, but international travel has been discouraged since February. Why Dubai? Why travel all the way across the world to go to Dubai for this? I mean, when you could have done it in the United States. I mean, Julian, you're from out of country. You haven't flown home throughout all this. Why? Because it's not safe. Because we've been told it's not safe. So we're doing what the rules and instructions of people are telling us to do. And that's all well, good and fine. And then Paul Stanley telling us to do all this. But then when it's time to do this live pay-per-view concert, well, we're going to go do this. I exactly, Ken. And we all know it's about the money. It's not. They didn't do this for the fans, and at least they weren't saying for 6 weeks, "Hey, we're doing this for the fans live from Dubai," because that would have really been a crock. but it 100% was, and I couldn't get myself to pay for it because to me it's hypocrisy at its finest. Because it's no worse or no better than these local governors who are telling people, hey, don't travel for Thanksgiving, don't do this, don't do that, and they get on a plane to go see their family members. It's the exact same thing. And and maybe my phone will blow up later after this episode goes live again. But I have a real problem with it, with telling people one thing and then doing another. So, I'm glad the Kiss Army united for it. I much rather had it been in the United States. And I told my wife on New Year's Eve, I said, I wish it was Guns N' Roses. Because one, Axl hasn't been on Twitter telling people how to live their life and telling people, hey, don't do this, don't do that. If they would have came out in November and say, hey, we're going to do a live show, I'd be freaking right. That's awesome. Let's do it. Because it wouldn't have been hypocritical to do so. So that's my issue.
I hope your phone does blow up. I hope it blows up with people saying, good for you, Lonnie.
I didn't have anybody tell me that on Saturday night.
Well, I saw you on Twitter, and I started liking. I put some put some hearts on yours to be supportive. I'm already blocked by one member of the band, so I really didn't want to chime in on the conversation and make it a pair.
You have to say, I mean, going to Kiss for advice in these type of matters, then you're going to the wrong outlet, so to speak. I mean, you want to know about politics or how to behave or how to be. You shouldn't be asking Paul Stanley or Gene Simmons. They are in love with their own voices at this time. Yeah,
or John Schaefer or Ted Nugent or any of these guys. Listen to them. Listen to their music. Enjoy their music, and leave all of their other garbage at the door. I absolutely agree with what Lonnie says.
He is a hypocrite, but it's no surprise.
Yeah, there's no one in America who's going to pay Kiss the sort of money that they're going to get paid in that market to do that sort of thing. I have no idea what they get paid, by the way, but I'm pretty sure they have worked their way through all of the North American payday type sorts of things already, and now it's elsewhere where they're going to get the money. But you know what? Living in California, and I don't want to get into politics, but it's impossible not to. Obviously we're living in a very severe lockdown situation where our governor is then busted going to one of the most expensive restaurants for a family gathering, and just being an utter hypocrite under the circumstances. The same in San Francisco with our mayor, who then did a very similar. So I totally get it. People are sick and tired of being told by people in positions of either authority or prestige to do one thing and then having them do exactly the opposite and showing no shame for that either. Just coming up with vacuous excuses and it's like Leona Helmsley, rules are for, or taxes, rules are for the little people, Well, no, they're not, because we're all supposedly in this together. Will you buy the DVD, Lonnie, or have you watched since then when it was loaded free on YouTube?
I have watched bits and pieces because I do love Kiss. At the end of the day, I do love Kiss, and I did watch it, but I wasn't going to pay for it because I was not going to support it. because of the hypocrisy involved.
Well, you've done what everyone can do. You've made a statement with your wallet.
Correct. I made a statement with my wallet that I was not going to pay for it. And I had people say, well, Lonnie, well, sports are playing, blah, 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 blah. Well, sports aren't traveling internationally, though, either. Nor is the NFL or Major League Baseball walking around every day telling me how to live my life either.
Nobody cares about baseball outside America. That's why.
Well, that's all well good and fine. Well, so, okay, hockey. The NHL starts up next week. But the NHL isn't on Twitter every day telling me how to live my life. That's my issue with it. Is they're not telling me how to live my life and then doing the exact opposite.
Yeah, you have so high standards when it comes to morals. I'm not on that echelon as Lonnie. I totally understand his point of view, but I've stopped listening to Paul Stanley and Gene Simmons when it comes to politics years back.
Maybe you're actually the better man than I am.
No, they should have dropped the politics a long time ago. I mean, they always said that if you want to know about politics, don't ask a fucking rock star. And then the next day they do this exact opposite, and they've been doing that for years. So they are hypocrites when it comes to this, but I already knew that. So I didn't get all riled up about that.
I had to ban someone on the FAQ exactly for our conversation today. We'd get all of us banned from the FAQ. Just so you know that. Our conversation we've just had would get us all banned. I have to ban us all now on the FAQ.
I did not get political.
Ken
the voice of reason. Always the voice of reason.
Ken is the proud new owner of the KissFAQ. He is now the boss. He has voted us off the island for violating the terms of service. Actually, we're not on the board, but you know what? I prefer rock stars just, I don't want to say shut up and dribble because I don't agree with that. I think everyone is allowed their opinion. But I do prefer just to listen to their music and tune out all the other crap that goes with it, whether they're athletes, whether they're... I tune out the politicians as well as much as possible. But, I like to remain sane. Why don't we get into today's topics, which is our hopes for 2021. Last episode, we kind of wrapped up with a look back at the decade and, the best of 2020, in a shit sandwich of a year. We're already off to a good start, having seen some of the pictures circulating on Facebook today of what is the still to be announced double LP version of Kiss Killers in some colored vinyl, and I have no idea of the full details of it yet. It looks like it's going to be a gatefold with the lyrics on the inside. It looks like it's going to be printed in metallic cover stock, so all the white will shine through in the silver. It looks like it's going to have custom labels on each of the records, pictures on one side, and a adjusted Casablanca type label on the other, listing the song listings on both sides. Have a Repro German logo sticker, and then of course the booklet, and I have no idea what else. I have no idea where it's going to be available. I have no idea the numbers. Those are just some teaser pictures, I think. So I think that's a very good way to start off the year with something like that, especially with it being nothing new. With it just being a reinterpretation of something that exists. It also honors the commitment to not reproduce what was in the Hysteria box set and instead makes it something even cooler. What's everyone's take on that vinyl as the first kind of to be announced item of the year? Lonnie, let's go back to you.
I was excited. There was it was on Facebook a couple months ago. Like, what would you want to see Kiss do as far as reissues in 2021? And Pink Killers was actually my suggestion. So I don't think I can take credit for it because Pink Killers is, if you're going to do Killers, to do it in pink is kind of a no-brainer. But I think it's great. It was my hope that they would do something like that. Do something, like a couple years, like I guess it wasn't 2020, but it was 2019. Germany did the best of the solo albums as an exclusive colored vinyl over there, and I got that because one, because I've been getting all the colored vinyls, but two, because I was more excited about that because it was different. It was something other than, here's Hotter Than Hell in orange. Okay, that's cool, but a Killers double in pink with the gloss format, I'm excited about it. it's what I had wished for. So like here we are 7 days into the new year, and we're gonna get that. And like, I hope that more cool projects, are in store. Maybe a live 3 with Take It Off on it, which was the bonus track. Let's do something. We can do something, a reissue, but something with a twist to it, like we're doing with Killer. So, I'm on board for things like that. So I'm really happy. Can't wait to get it. They can take my money on that.
And of course, it being in pink vinyl, if that does end up being that, has nothing to do with Vinny, because of course it was Bob who played on Killers. Right. Daniel, thoughts on that?
Well, 3 issues once again. I don't know if it's the best way to start the year. I do understand that people like to collect. People like to have plastic in different colors. It seems to be a thing. But personally, it does nothing for me. But I think it's good that they release something. I'm into stuff. I'd rather buy a concert, something new, like Dubai. I'd rather put my money there. Something new, some surprises, something current. That's cool. Or something that's hard to find. Finding some old stuff, that's cool. But reissuing is not my cup of tea. But I bought this week. Do you remember this?
I see that.
The ugliest T-shirt ever made.
It's close. There's one issued right around the same time with a dog. It's called Dr. Love. It's really bad too.
Yeah, but you remember, Lonnie, the Revenge era. We were looking for cool T-shirts. This is what we got. The Forkhead. And it actually fell to pieces when I put it. It was completely new. I bought it from Nico. Look here. This is fucking. The arms fell off.
That's nice.
That kind of made me thought, man, Revenge was some time ago, because this was made in 93, 94. And I think not so long ago. And I lifted it up. I picked it up from the plastic bag, and the arms fell off. Literally, I have no arms on this one. So this will be the only appearance of Forkhead on this podcast, and then I'll have to throw it in the trash bin. But at least I had it for a day or two.
You can say you had it.
Yeah, I had it.
All right, Ken. Killers.
Yeah, I saw the pictures today. I thought it's very cool looking. At least they're going an extra mile on it. Being pink vinyl and little touches here, like the silver and the labels on the record, the records, because I think it's going to be, and I don't know if it's going to be, I can't remember if it said it was going to be half speed mastered or what, or it might be even a 45 RPM. But I think I'm going to say it's half speed mastered. But anyway, I think it's going to be cool. I look forward to it. I'm sure I'll try to get it. It looks like it's going to probably be overseas that I'll have to order from. But that's one of the things I would definitely get. And I hope there's more like that, or if they go an extra mile on other releases. If they do a re-release, I want them to go the extra mile somehow.
Well, that gets us nicely in, I guess, to the first question and stuff that we'd look forward to in 2021 as possibilities. I've got a whole segment or section of categories here that we can talk about. I think reissues, since we're talking about Killers already, let's start with reissues in some of the formats that you like. And I'm going to steal Lonnie's, because I think a full Kiss Alive 3 with the missing song or the additional songs that were recorded but weren't included on it would be a nice way to kick Alive 3 up a notch. If they're never going to do things like releasing all of the concerts that were recorded for Kiss Alive, Alive 2, Alive 3, whatever, and Alive 3, quite a few shows were recorded. I think Nashville was the demo. Eddie Kramer got, and then Cleveland, Indy, and I don't remember the other one. They're all Midwest, I think.
Indianapolis.
Indianapolis, yeah, Indy. And again, I don't remember what the other ones. While I would love that as a box set, if they're not going to do it, well, the set list back then was 26 songs or something, and certainly, it was absolutely. Yeah,
I mean, there were War Machine. How the hell did they leave War Machine off Alive 3? That's a mystery.
So I
They
think
played.
that would make a really cool archival reissue with just saying Ultimate Alive 3. You know, well, why not do a series on Ultimate Alives? You know, you can do that. They kind of did it on the Alive 75 to 2000 box set when they, you know, just added on the single version of Rock and Roll All Night onto one. They made Alive 2 on a single CD. But you can do this on vinyl, you know,
And
Alive
they gave
3.
us Take It Off on there too, yeah.
Yeah. So Daniel,
It was on the European. Yeah, Take It Off was on the European version, as you know, and I think that sounded great. I loved Alive 3 when it came out, but I was, if you remember, AC/DC released a disc, I think the same year or the year before, and if I'm not, I think it was a double live or a single.
It was both.
It was
2
either
edition.
way.
Collector's
Yeah, either
edition
way.
was 2
Yeah.
CD.
Yeah. So that was what I was hoping for, and some of the stuff they left off that they performed live was a catastrophe. I mean, War Machine, one of my all-time favorites, sounding great. The song they had the most effects in. You remember the skull blowing up and and everything. It was made for being on a live record, and they left it off. I'm not sure. Maybe there was some problem with the recording or something, but they recorded "I Was Made for Loving You" on the sound check. So I think they could have solved that. So I think it's a great idea to do something with Alive 3, adding stuff that was missing. So I'm totally into that. And the band sounded great at that point in time. And the songs are played a bit differently than on other tours, much because of Eric Singer's drumming. And they still, to this day, I think, sound really good and, you know, updated and a bit on the heavy side. A little bit of heavy metal more than rock and roll. And I do enjoy it. So I'm totally in for an update on Alive 3, doing something with the material that's missing and maybe changing the cover. I never liked the cover. I think it was kind of boring. Do something with, you know, the inside of the booklet. Do something with that live picture. And as you mentioned, Alive 3, you know, me and Lonnie, we like the look of the band from Revenge. I actually bought a thing once again from Nico, because a long time ago I saw a picture that I completely loved. It was from the UK tour, if you remember, in '92. And I remember seeing this as a teenager and thinking, man, do Kiss look cool. And it's this Kiss Strike magazine. You have a really cool picture of Gene blowing fire. Paul Stanley looks like a sex god. Bruce Kulick, really cool, and Eric Singer looks like they're having fun, and the blood and the metal and all that. So I actually bought this. It actually got in the mail today, along with this freaking T-shirt that fell to pieces. So I'm totally in on Alive 3.
Nice. Ken, why don't you get us some of the archival releases in any format that you might like this year?
Well, I would like archival releases. I would like something from Alive 2, definitely. Expanded kind of thing, or in the original recording that they were going to release in Japan, or for Japan only, right? I forget the name of
Rock and Roll Party.
Rock and Roll Party, exactly. That they were going to do, and the songs that, you know, they left off. So I would like that, and the original mix maybe from the concerts they recorded, or concert, and do something like that. Expand it with a nice booklet, kind of with details and so on. Other releases, if they're going to do re-releases, again, I've talked about it before about, you know, box sets on each album have a little bit of everything in it, you know, CD, vinyl, and video also. Any video that they can drum up. Some eras are harder to find, you know, videos, concert, but, you know, they're out there, obviously. But yes, stuff like that I would love to see them do, and do it, you know, correctly. Meaning, you know, cut back on cost.
Yeah, make it expensive. Yeah. So that people could bitch about it being unaffordable. Hey, but we made you exactly what you asked for. Here you go. All right, Lonnie, Daniel and I totally stole revenge off you as a possibility. Aren't we horrible human beings? So what would you like?
I mentioned that, I would like the Alive 3, done properly. So I would like to see that. I would really like to see the band do something special for the 25th anniversary of the reunion tour. And I don't think we're going to do anything. I don't think we will get it. But I love the reunion tour almost as much as Andrew does. And I would love to see something in the vein of what Andrew did to celebrate the reunion tour, whether it's video, whether it's audio, something. They were recording every one of those shows every night. Put them up on Kiss Online that you can download them. Anyone you want to, let you cherry pick. Hey, I was at this show, I was at that show. I'd love to have we all have bootlegs of a lot of those shows. I would love to have a pro version of St. Louis, July 2nd, 1996, the first time I saw the band. I would love to have that. I have the bootleg of it, but God, I'd love to have a pro shot version of that. And I know it exists. We all do. All those shows exist. So 25 years later, why are you still holding on to them? What are you ever going to do with them at this point? Why still have them if you're not going to do anything with them? Put them out there and let fans just relive the joy of that era. But unfortunately, because of a lot of the bitterness that goes on with two of the members that were involved at the time, I don't see them doing that. And it's a real shame, because I think Kiss fans, and even the casual Kiss fans, would eat that up. That, oh yeah, I remember that. Remember the summer of '96 when Kiss was on top of the world again, and we went to those shows and they were just incredible. We had the time of our lives reliving our childhood, or experiencing, in my case, with seeing Kiss in makeup for the first time. Put them out, or why have them? So that's my wish, is for something like that to come out. And you could do it like this year. We're going to put, for the 25th anniversary of the reunion tour, we're going to put out those shows, and in 2023 we'll do 25th anniversary of those Psycho Circus shows. Put those out, because you have those too in the same vein. Why do you have those? And then in 2025 put out the first farewell tour shows, because you have those too. All that footage with the original band that they're just sitting on. Put that out in some kind of format so the fans can relive those years again. That's my wish.
Wow, we got two voices of reason on this show today. That's excellent. Lonnie obviously got over his hot take earlier, and
I still love the band.
I know, and that's the wonderful thing. I think Andrew, really hit a home run. If only that it hits them upside the head, and that they're able to do something to celebrate the 25th anniversary of the reunion, because it was a very special time for a lot of fans. What other milestone anniversaries are we celebrating in 2021? The Elder? Well, Def Leppard may have done the early years box set with their least successful album, but I really don't see Kiss just being invested enough. And of course, record labels have a part to play in this as well. So I don't see the Elder getting any sort of respect this year. It's the 50th anniversary of Wicked Lester, starting to record that album. And I believe Gene and Paul, there was a tweet of them at Electric Lady, mentioning that half-century mark since they first went in the studio together. So 50th anniversary of Wicked Lester might be the only time it's worth just getting it out there, along with that reel Paul discovered, unless it disintegrated in the oven. It really is the time to get all of the various versions. I'd be very disappointed if it was just a flippant single CD. I would really like to have the early versions with Stephen Cornell, even if he's now basically banished from, our minds for his crimes. But I would like the fully developed one. I would like the 76, remix, the full 2001, so we're up to four CDs, the live performance and the reel, and anything else in it with a nice book. I don't think there's many pictures. And I wonder if any of the other live shows have surfaced since they were mentioned. But that's the only real anniversary. I mean, we've got anniversaries if it's every 5 years makes an anniversary. Well, 25 years ago was 96, 30, 91. Not much to celebrate there with the passing of Eric Carr, obviously, unless they do, something with revenge and include the 91 rehearsal recordings with Eric Carr, which I would love to hear what they recorded at the beginning of those sessions before he got too sick to do anything and obviously passed away. 86, well, Asylum Live. 81 I've already mentioned, and then it's 76. Well, what do we want to celebrate Rock and Roll Over and Destroyer again? I mean,
we can always reissue Destroyer.
Unless they're done right, which Destroyer Resurrected wasn't, and we all bitched about it. So, who knows? There's plenty of things to celebrate. Otherwise, I mean, I like what Lonnie has mentioned, waiting a couple of years for 25th of Psycho and 25th of Farewell afterwards. So after that, there's really not a whole lot. Maybe even how they did a best of live compilation when they were recording those tours live. They did a best of live, I think 2008. It gets a bit fuzzy. Maybe best of a live worldwide to play off to riff off Andrew's video. Pair it up with a video like that, like Andrew made, or Andrew's video. Get him in there to do it with all their footage. That would be real cool. Imagine letting Andrew loose in the candy store. Yeah, I guess we're going. Yeah. Let's move on to another category of items, and it's books and printed material. Daniel, since you were just holding up printed material in your hand, what would you like to see in printed material format this year?
Well, to be realistic, there are a few things that could be released, and I've already mentioned Nico. If you look through his old magazines, you find loads and loads of great photos from the different tours, and I think especially the Revenge era. And I would like to see Nico, I know he's mentioned it at times, release some sort of photo book / his story with Kiss, and maybe focus in a bit. For me, it would be the Revenge era, because I think he followed them quite a bit. He was in the UK, he was in America, and that's about it where they played. And I don't know if he went to any of the shows in South America, but focusing on the Revenge era and somehow intertwining that with his own personal story and meetings with the band, I would totally buy that. That's one thing I would like to see, and that's really possible to do.
And that could be similar to Carl Linnaeus and Alex's Partners in Crime book, just hopefully in English.
Yeah, I don't want it in Italian. I want it in English. But Carl and Alex did a couple of these great books.
Yeah, we just lost your video. So, Ken, let's move on to you for printed material. And we'll come back to you, Daniel, if you had another one.
Yeah, printed material. I'd love to see, former members, maybe write a book. More particularly, maybe Bruce, but I don't know when he's going to, get around to doing it. He may wait until they, finish up the career. That would be one kind of book. I know we've talked about, a book of all the, tour books, and that's kind of, hard licensing the pictures and stuff like that. And, there's other books that we've been waiting for a while now. that we
Which
purchased
could that
already.
possibly
I've
Which one
invested
could
in
that
those.
be?
Yeah. So that was supposed to happen. Well, it's supposed to happen now this year, right?
Well, we're just
February.
about due
But
another excuse. So
I'm waiting for a delay. But yeah, I hope that. I don't know. I can just keep hoping it keeps, it comes out eventually, whatever. That I get, get what I paid for, kind of thing. Otherwise, books. I don't know. I mean, there's some people that have come up with some great ideas about some books, like the non-makeup era and stuff. I wouldn't mind a book about just a straight book about the any particular album, particular albums. I don't know how you could do it, but again, that goes back to my other thing where I'd rather have that in a box set for an album release.
ooh, a box set of books. You know the 33 1/3 series on albums? Wouldn't it be great to have a 33 1/3 book series on Kiss albums as in a box?
Yeah, I mean, stuff like that. I mean, it would be great. I'm sure there's a lot of things that can be done, but we've seen the toys and we've seen other things. We've seen the vinyl books. But I guess I'm sure there's other ideas that someone will come up with that we'll probably go out and buy it.
Yeah, Lonnie.
I got two different ideas that I would like to see, and I don't know how realistic either one of them are, but I would love to see Kiss come up and do Kiss History Volume 3. And because remember back in 94, whatever, Gene says a lot of things, but Gene says, oh, there's going to be 10 eventually. Gene says a lot of things, but I would like to see a third one. I'd like to see them pick up where they left off, because the first one kind of ends with the Revenge era, and I would like to see it pick up with the reunion tour and properly document the reunion and Psycho Circus and First Farewell and this time that they've spent on tour and making a couple studio albums with Tommy and Eric, and document that into a volume 3 of History, and maybe coincide it and put as at the very end the end of the road tour, and you can even put some stuff from Dubai in there for all I care, but document the second half of the band, basically. The second half of the life of the band with the reunion and everything else. I would love to see a proper history book in the same size, the same thing. I can put, I can line the three of them up and have, the second half of the band documented in History Volume 3 since we put the makeup back on until the end. I think would be if done properly, would be a really, really fun thing. And my other wish is nothing. I guess you couldn't call it Nothing to Lose, because Nothing to Lose coincides with the first story, but Nothing to Lose was 72 to 75. I'd like to see a continuation of that with Ken Sharp from 76 to 79.
Gods of Thunder, 76 to 79.
I would absolutely eat that up, and I think everyone on this podcast and everyone listening would do the same. I would love to see the continuation of that story, because I love that book and I've read it more than twice. So I'd love to see that happen again.
But only by Ken Sharp. It'd have to be a proper sequel.
It'd have to be in the same vein, by Ken Sharp, done properly. I'd love to see that. Absolutely love it. So I don't know which one I'd want more, but that, as far as printed material books go for 2021, those are my two wishes.
Daniel raised his hand.
Yes, sir. Julian, are you taking questions?
I had also written down follow-up to Ken Sharp's Nothing to Lose. I think that would be a great idea, and then go through the whole, era of Kiss. But just, I have to mention Carl and Alex once again. When we got the first book, we got a great poster of Gene Simmons coming along.
Yeah, I like it.
And then the second book, we got this one, Ace Frehley. So, in my mind, we need all four. So I'm hoping that they release number 3 with Paul's, maybe Peter Criss, and then save Paul Stanley for the final one, number 4, Partners in Crime.
Those are great.
And then they can release them in English. So, yeah, great posters and great books.
as a box set in English.
Yeah.
No, I love Lonnie's idea. I'm totally for that because I actually have mock-up artwork for that second volume that I was using to provoke people. Saying, because I really want that. I want Ken to do it. And, I started going through Ken's Goldmine interviews and transcribing all the stuff that would go into that sort of book in that format. I think I've still got it kicking around here somewhere. I think it's like 100 pages worth already kind of done. I would love that. And especially for that era. And that, could coincide nicely with Ken's, desire for an Alive 2, super edition. That would be absolutely fantastic. But I think this year, if I'm going to focus on one book printed material type thing, apart from also really liking, Daniel's idea, especially for Strike and the amount of photos that they did of their own that they have control over, probably, great idea also. I would love to finally see that coma-inducing ink quality tour book, coffee table book, reprinting all of the tour books, going back to the beginning, to the ones that were only sold in Savannah in 79, the Return of Kiss tour book, the variations, so pages showing the different pages, but just doing one particular tour book in full size, properly laid out, with just very little commentary, with no Warring Abbott photoshopping of eyeballs to make them winky and all that. Just as they were, include the tradition. Keep the commercial, the ads in there for what they were, because they do speak to the time. But do that, and don't upscale, don't downscale. So the square one, just have it, black boxed or whatever it's called, in the middle of the page, but make it history sized. That could be a History 3, easily. History 3, the tour books, all the way up to the end of the road, because we do expect that to kind of be the end. And if it's not all inclusive, well, just tough. There's no way around it. But that'd be really neat to finally get that. And, again, have the current band sign it, the insert on certain ones, like they did the original History. The current lineup, just to trigger people, because they're the current lineup. So that would be the only book item other than the one Lonnie mentioned that I would really go for. We got roughly 10 minutes left. Let's...
oh, my.
Which one of these other categories did you guys most like to talk about? Other merch items and ideas, a live performance, new music, box set, or video?
Go ahead.
Well, let's just pick which one we'll want to talk about. We can talk about different stuff.
Okay, yeah. Out of all of these other topics, which one of your ideas for any of them do you like the most? That you want to make your final recommendation for something you'd like in 2021? Ken, let's start with you.
Yeah, well, I got
God
something.
Damn
it. That's not me calling.
But
anyway, so 2021. I would like, as another idea, I guess, monetizing.
Before we start...
Uh-oh. Daniel?
Daniel's in Canada tonight.
Canadian Wi-Fi.
We just lost your Wi-Fi, Daniel.
It gets cold in Sweden, just like Canada. Wi-Fi doesn't work.
Freezing up. Okay, well, I will continue while Daniel fixes his internet. So one of the ideas is, Kiss has talked about they talked about having a traveling kind of museum, that kind of thing. I would love them to have a museum or something that they can put out there, or you could go to check it out. I really enjoyed even though it was just a certain select items, I guess. Back when the Kiss convention days, they had all the mannequins with all the different costumes, wearing the costumes, and then they had, one of Peter's drum set. They had the painting from Destroyer or Love Gun, one of the two. I think maybe it was Love Gun, but anyway, and so on. There's all kinds of things, clothing, guitars. I would love to see all that, or they go into their warehouse and take pictures of all these things.
Yeah.
Take them a proper picture, get a good photographer, obviously, and do the lighting right and so on, and just take pictures of these different things from history, I guess, as you would say. So if we can't go see this stuff, they can bring it to us in a book, and just everything. I'm sure there's all kinds of things. I know, even like the socks. They had the socks. Some that was a giveaway in one of Gene Simmons' vaults. I mean, just anything. All the different boot covers that might be still laying around, and other stuff. Just all kinds of things. So I would just love them to really dissect their warehouse and take pictures of it, and maybe it might work as a book, and they can write stories about these individual items, from that they remember about these certain things that I'm sure there's a lot of things we haven't seen that are in this warehouse.
And Def Leppard's about to do that. DefLeppardVault.com. Yeah, it sounds like a plug, but they're about to do a dig into their archives and exactly what Ken has kind of described. So for fans of Def Leppard, hopefully they'll start at the beginning. 77. Daniel, while your Wi-Fi and video are both working simultaneously. And he freezes.
The cord went out. No.
No, you're back.
The cord went out of the... Yeah, I'm back, yeah. So, as much as we talked about the reunion tour being a great thing for Kiss, personally, it was kind of the end of Kiss being a band trying to stay current, trying to do stuff to surprise, trying to evolve, trying to do something different. So I'm looking for new music, because that's something that's been lacking the last few decades. And we have some coming. I mean, Ace Frehley is going to release a new record. That'll be exciting. Hopefully he'll get some gems on that one. He seems to find himself for quite some time now, and even though I haven't really loved any of his lyrics, it's great that he's releasing new stuff. But that's not the one I'm looking forward to the most. That's Paul Stanley's Soul. No, it's not. It's Paul Stanley's that as well. At least from those high falsettos. And it will be a fun thing, but nothing to write home about. But what I'm really looking forward to is Bruce Kulick mentioned before the pandemic really hit us hard that he had been starting to thinking of recording stuff with I always forget his name, the bassist from Slash's band.
Todd Curran.
God damn it, Curran.
Yeah. And trying to do a record with those guys.
That'd be great.
Interesting because, first listening to the live shows from the Kiss cruises, I mean, those were the greatest concerts ever played on the Kiss cruises. To me, at least, I think there were just great stuff unplugged with that bassist. Sounded awesome as well. So having a new album with new material from those guys, that's what I'm really looking forward to next year. I'm hoping that they will manage to do it, and I think it will be great. So that's what I'm looking forward to.
All right. So yeah, everyone will notice that Daniel's mic got a bit choppy, but you got the point. New music with Todd and Bruce. So, who's next? Lonnie?
I guess I am. What I'd like to see from Kiss in 2021 is we've heard rumors of this being something that was in the works, but I would like to see another box set of demos or unreleased material. Because again, in the same vein as what I said about the reunion tour, we know that there's more stuff out there that the band has in their archives. Why do you have it if you're not going to put it out at this point? I mean, you know, they're really at the end here. We don't know. We don't have a firm date anymore. We thought we did a year ago, but you know, we're approaching the end. Put out some of those last demos that you have in your archives. Put out anything you have in one big, I don't want to say monster box set but
dumpster.
Put out anything. Dumpster box set. How about that? Dumpster of any kind. Dumpster of shit, because that's the stuff that's the stuff I want. You know, is in the same vein as the vault of just, here's this demo, and then here's this demo, and here's how it evolved into Detroit Rock City, or here's how it evolved into Rock and Roll All Night. From the song Drive Us Wild, how it evolved into Rock and Roll All Night. And have like multiple versions leading up to it. And then, you know, here's the demo we did of Rock and Roll All Night. Like, I love that. I mean, and there's stuff like that out there. We know there's stuff like that out there. You know, it's because stuff trickles out every once in a while. That's what I would love to see, because why, again, in the same vein as Reunion, why are you holding on to it to this day and just sitting on it? Put it out there, because, you know, Kiss fans aren't getting any younger, and the band isn't getting any younger either. So let us enjoy it, and you know, pound your chest one last time that, you know, here's this monster box set, and charge me $300 for it, charge me $500 for it, and just give me how many CDs of it, and just let me eat it up. So I would love that. I don't need a vault and come meet you, because obviously we're probably not going to do that anytime soon. But give me those songs and ship it to my house, and you can still make. You want to make some money during a pandemic? Do that, because I think all of us would do it, and I think a lot of people on the board would do it, and a lot of people listening to this podcast would do it, because I think, you know, for as great as the original Kiss box set was in 2001, well, it had a lot of studio recordings that I already have. Give me the box set we want. I would eat it up.
I'm with you, Lonnie. And I think it should be done online. I think it should be a website by subscription. Every month you pay a fee. Every month they put up one CD's worth of material into it. You can have multiple membership levels. 1, you can only stream the stuff. 2, you get a CD sent to you. And 3, you get a vinyl version of it. You know, additional fees for each one of those. Obviously, the band does a podcast, you know, going track by track through each one of them, you know, just put together an interview thing like that, you know, just some eye candy, some pictures of the source material and all that. And there's your virtual vault experience that takes you through a year.
You want to make money during a pandemic? There you go.
You don't have to go brain surgery on this. Get this shit out there. You know, do your pre-orders, sign up for this, sign up for that, special this, sign that, you know, get people to buy those different membership levels. And you might even get a Ginsu knife sent to you, you know, more stuff from Gene Simmons' leftovers. Yeah, you know, just special stuff. You know, chockies that don't cost much, but, you know, make people feel invested in it. It'd be a great way to do like a virtual Gene Simmons vault, but to do it by installments, so the bootleggers wouldn't get it all in one go. Because no matter what you do, the bootleggers are going to get it. There's no way around it. So get those subscriptions, but get those options for CDs. It's going to be 10 signed ones in this batch of CDs, but you got to be amongst the, you know, order by a certain date. You know, you got to order vinyl by a certain date. And just do it that way. Do a cheap and easy video, you know, interview Paul for an hour about each one of the songs, interview Gene, well, yeah, they probably wouldn't let the other members participate, and they probably wouldn't want it without getting paid. But do it that way and put it together. And then at the end, you know, you get a book. you get something to house it in, that you got to pay, and you got to pay shipping. So it's like you're not really getting anything free, but because you've subscribed to all of it, you get these options for these extras at the end, and maybe a chance to win a coffin. But what would I?
Places and earn.
What would I? Ken, did I get you, by the way?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, I'm losing track with doing baked potatoes at the same time as this. What would I like the most this year? Other than world peace and harmony, I would actually really like Vinny to finally show some promise from all our hopes and aspirations of what we thought might be possible and some of the things that he spoke about. I'd love to see a release of new or previously unreleased music from Vinny, not an instrumental CD, not a reissue of Speedball Jam, but I'd like to see it done through another party to guarantee delivery and reasonableness of price. I think it has to be taken out of his hands. I would just love for him to finally put out Guitarmageddon or Guitars from Hell or from whatever the hell it's called now in his head, so that people could get it on iTunes, get a digital, get a video, get a vinyl,
something.
Just something. And just like I've said about Kiss and a virtual box set, to do a video talking about each one of the songs, maybe even having his guitar in his lap and, noodling a little bit of parts of it. I think it's been so long. I love the idea of Todd and Bruce. A great one. I can't top that. Though actually I could, because I'd love to see another Union album. And maybe Todd could come in as the bassist if Jamie's not around. So many good ideas, guys. I mean, we've got all of 2021 ahead of us. It's only what day? It's the 7th. We're only 7 days into the year. So just looking through the board and Ross Halfin's Dubai photos, I would love to see some photo books from some of the other photographers on Kiss. The Bob Gruins, who I don't think has done one, or Ross Halfin for that matter, who's certainly a name. I'd love to see videos. I'd just love to see anything. I'm actually looking forward to Soul Station just because it is new. It is something different, and I'm absolutely fascinated to find out the track listing of that. I don't know how many times I'll listen to it. Probably not many, but I may end up being pleasantly surprised or not. And you know what? I'll still buy it and support Paul because I think he's poured his heart and soul into it. So I'll give him a chance, and maybe we'll get some more Peter Criss music. Who knows?
Yeah, that'd be good.
All right. That is it. That is our hopes and aspirations for 2021, plus Lonnie's hot take.
Find me on Twitter.
Yeah. He'll not be being followed by Paul Stanley. But you know what? Do chime in on any of these topics. Chime in on your thoughts about what Lonnie talked about today. Do you share those feelings? Did you avoid Dubai because of a year worth of pontifications that were suddenly thrown out the window for a payday? Or were you all in no matter what? At least I know now what I'm doing with my 2 theatrical tickets for the viewing of Dubai, Lonnie. You and the missus are going to the theater on my tickets, because they never do it in any cinema near me, and I'm sure in where you are you'll have more of a chance of actually getting to see it. I'm sure Becky would love that, wouldn't she?
Gosh, yeah.
Yeah. So all right, that's it for this week. So from Lonnie, from Daniel, from Ken and myself, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time. Stay healthy. Thank you for spending time listening to the KissFAQ podcast today. All sales are final, there are no refunds. If you'd like, look us up on Facebook or come over to the KissFAQ message board and discuss the topic we've broadcast today. Don't forget to rate us on iTunes, Spreaker, or wherever you've listened to the show. We hope you'll join us again.